Hey guys, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home, and I am back with another 4K review. I've been cranking them out lately, so I hope you guys all enjoy it. If you do like 4K, Blu-ray, home theater content, definitely subscribe to the channel because I have a lot more coming. Today's video is a very exciting review. This is also one of my most anticipated of the year, simply because of the age and the style of this movie. Now, this is right on par with The Wizard of Oz when it comes to old-time classics. I shouldn't say it's on par. Wizard of Oz is all-time great, but this is an all-time great as well, albeit at a lower level. So what I have today is I have Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life on 4K from Paramount Pictures. I'm really excited. This movie's from 1946, so it is a few years younger, than The Wizard of Oz. Came out roughly, almost a decade later, 7 or 8 years later, after The Wizard of Oz. And so the interesting thing is it is all in black and white. Shot the movie in black and white on 35 millimeter. And so there is no color here to talk about like we had with The Wizard of Oz. So this is a purely black and white release from the 1940s. Now, Paramount, just to give you some background, did a ton of restoration work on this. From what I read, 13 of the 14 original negatives survived after all these years, and they had 3 different sources to pull from. And so what they did was they would pick the best of the 3 because obviously, one was damaged in this scene, another one wasn't looking so great on that scene. There's rips, tears, scratches, scuff marks, dirt, all kinds of stuff all over the film. And so they had 3 different negatives to work off of, 35 millimeter. They were able to compile here a new 4K restoration for 2019. This is the first time that this has been seen in this 4K restoration on disc. There are some other Capra movies which did get 4K restorations on Blu-ray, but It's a Wonderful Life was not one of them. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the Blu-ray to compare it to, and so I'm going purely off of comparing this to other movies from the time period like The Wizard of Oz. Being fresh in my mind from yesterday doing a review, I have a pretty good idea of how this looks. So that gives you some background on the release, the amount of work. Paramount spent over a year putting this together, and so to release it just in time for the holiday season, I hope that a lot of people support them and go out and purchase this release because they did a lot of hard work. Now, let's talk about the video. As I mentioned, new 4K restoration, and we get the benefit of Dolby Vision Hdr on this release. No HDR10 Plus, so either HDR10 standard or Dolby Vision, for those of you who are wondering. But the picture on this was really good. There's a little bit of grain and softness to some portions of the film. But you have to remember that this movie was not a classic when it first came out. Not a lot of people even cared about it until they started playing it on TV during Christmas season, 20 years later or so. So it's kind of interesting. It became a cult movie because of the airtime it got on TV, because it was easy for the TV stations to pay for the rights because nobody had ever heard of it. And so if you go back and think about film preservation back then, it wasn't great. Thankfully, whoever was taking care of these did a great job, and Paramount was able to go back in and really restore this from some great negatives. And you can tell there are some moments where you're going to see scratches on the film, dirt, scuff marks. Like I said, there are some artifacts throughout the movie. It's definitely not as smooth as The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz looked incredible, but it was also better taken care of because it was a classic right away. This one, as I said, had some issues, didn't really pick up steam until later, and so the negatives, to even have any camera negatives, is probably a really lucky. So Paramount did a great job though. The black levels here on the HDR are really nice. You get deeper blacks, brighter whites, deeper blacks. That's what HDR does for black and white movies. There isn't much to talk about with color. It's kind of funny because on the front of the case, they have the HDR logo. It says, for brighter, deeper, more lifelike colors. No colors here, black and white, but deep blacks, good gray uniformity, and bright whites help a black and white picture tremendously. As you heard in my Schindler's List review, the HDR does really help with these. And so where I was looking at a sepia tone with Wizard of Oz, now I'm getting a true black and white, and I love the way it looks. Now for the audio, what we have here is just a mono Dolby audio track. But what's interesting is on the 4K, it's a mono Dolby True HD. I don't know of many other releases that have that. But what this means is that you are only using the center channel. I walked around and I checked, they're not spreading the mono to any other. They're not doing like a double mono where the left and right fronts are still, blaring the same sound. It is just your center speaker. And so you're going to want to have a really strong center channel for this, because the audio could be a little weak if you don't have a lot of emphasis on your center and you paid more attention to your surrounds, left and rights. You need a good center channel to get the best audio experience. That being said, it is crystal clear. The dialogue is great. Music is great. It's just the limitations of your speaker, your middle speaker, or your TV's speakers, which may make this sound not so great. But if you have a good center channel like I do from SVS Sound, you're gonna really love this release. The mono original audio sounds great. One interesting thing though is on the Blu-ray that's included with this, it's just a mono Dolby Digital, not a Dolby True HD. So you are downgrading an audio on the Blu-ray disc. You are getting an upgraded experience on 4K. Now for the packaging, I do like the packaging. I think it's really nice. This is a sticker, first time in 4K. Unfortunately, the HDR is not. That is printed on the case. I don't really love that. But the artwork's nice. It's a nice slipcover. On the inside, same artwork, of course. Then it comes with the digital copy, which is really cool. And then pretty basic, right? Just 2 discs, no artwork on the discs. Most of the time and effort here was really spent on the restoration, and it shows. So I'm not too worried about the packaging. Some of the special features, though, are kind of nice. So there is the colorized version on the Blu-ray disc. That's really cool. If you're a purist like me, you're not going to want to watch the colorized version, but having it as an option is always fun. If you want to see, hey, what would this classic movie look like in color? If you want to put it on at Christmas and say, hey, you want to watch it in color for the first time. Like, it's just a cool added feature to me. I wouldn't watch it and analyze that version. It is also only on the Blu-ray, but it's cool that they included it. There's also a whole bunch of behind the scenes work that was done on the 4K, which they cover here. Restoring a beloved classic in 4K is one of the featurettes. It'll talk about how they painstakingly went back and found all these different negatives and spliced things together to make this awesome picture. There's also original home movies from cast parties when this was released, and a few other small featurettes. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of special features that they could pull from the time period because this wasn't a super popular movie upon initial release. It picked up steam in later years as it gained a cult holiday following. But overall, really nice special features. The feature on the restoration, if you're into that sort of stuff, is really interesting, so I recommend that. It's a decent package. It's great video. The HDR really helps that black and white, and the mono audio, Dolby True HD, if you have the right center channel, is really important, but it is going to sound great as long as you have the right equipment to handle it. So overall, I do recommend a purchase of It's a Wonderful Life. I think it would make a great holiday gift for a movie collector, somebody who's getting into 4K. How cool would it be to buy somebody, a 4K player and a copy of this for Christmas? I think that's a really cool gift if you're into that sort of thing and you have friends or family who are into it, into technology and into classic films. This is a great release from Paramount. They're doing a killer job as well with their old catalog titles, and this is a fine example of that. So I recommend it. It's going to be $20 at release day, so it's a great price if you don't already own it on Blu-ray. Realistically, will it probably drop? Yeah, I could see this dropping at Black Friday. I could see it dropping before Christmas as they try to move more units. You may be able to snag this for $15 or, on eBay even a week later if somebody just wanted the Blu-ray disc with the colorized version. A lot of people will sell off their 4K discs, and so I think you can get a really good deal on this considering the starting price point. I will leave a link down in the comments and in the description where you can pre-order this. It helps support my channel, but definitely helps support Paramount as well for all the hard work they put into this release and the amount of effort and just resources and time that had to go into this. This is what 4K is all about. We need to support companies when they do this and when they do it right and when they put out a great looking release. And It's a Wonderful Life is certainly one of those. So go grab it. I highly recommend it. Watch it at Christmas time and you're gonna love it. So thanks for watching, guys. That's it for this review. Just a quick one today. Like I said, go grab this in stores, support Paramount. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram. Check out all the links down in my description for different ways that you can help support my channel. And check out that merch channel. Thank you to the recent couple of purchasers who bought t-shirts. One of you guys tagged me on Instagram, and it was super cool to see anybody wearing my logo. So that's always really cool. And I appreciate all the new subscribers out there, all the new viewers. We'll keep it cranking. We're on our way to 20K and above. So keep subscribing, liking, commenting. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll be back with more content very shortly.